This book is going to change your life. Just give me a few minutes. I'll break down the core concepts in this book, and if you can put them into action, you'll see instant results. It's The Law of Abundance by S.D. Buffington. You've probably heard of the Law of Attraction, but you've probably never seen this book or heard about the Law of Abundance. With the Law of Attraction, if you've read like The Secret or Think and Grow Rich, those books break it down using anecdotes and people's different philosophies. This book's different. This book breaks down the Law of Attraction as a complete science. The author likens the Law of Attraction or the Law of Abundance to an electrical circuit. Now, the electrical circuit has a few different components, as you know, with any electrical circuit. And they all correlate to something within us. So, for example, with the electrical circuit, you've got a positive charge and you've got a negative charge, right? You need that to complete the circuit. Now, the author of this book proposes that that's exactly how the law of abundance works in the universe. So, here's how the author breaks it down. So, in order to attract what you want in life, you need to first have a positive charge, or we'll call it the active charge, right? Because it needs to be active. It needs to be pushing out some kind of electrical current, right? Now, what that is, in terms of law of abundance, is your desire, the things that you want in life. That is your active charge, your positive charge. Now, you need to make a clear definition as to what it is that you do want in life. Once you've got a clear picture, you've now set yourself that positive charge. Now, as you'll know with any battery, if you like, if you just have a positive charge, you're not going to get any results, right? Even if you have a positive and a negative, a battery on its own doesn't do anything, right? It needs to be plugged into something. It needs to have some kind of mechanism in order to work. So there's more to it, right? But that's the start. So you've got your positive or active charge. That's the first thing. Now, what to do with that positive or active charge is you need a booster. You need something which can push through that active charge, right, into the universe. So we're creating now an electrical circuit from your brain up into the universe and back, right? So you've created the decision, your desire, what you're hoping for, what you're wanting. The next thing to do is to boost that and push that out into the universe. Now, we do that in terms of the law of abundance with our actions, right? Our actions will send that message up into the universe. Now, our actions would be, for example, if you was looking to build a successful YouTube channel, let's use that for example. If you think about that and you get a clear picture as to what you want, great, that's your positive charge. Now you need to start working towards that, right? So you need to start making YouTube videos. You need to start learning how to make videos, how to speak on camera, all of these things. They're positive actions which will push your positive electrical current out into the universe. Now, once you've done those two steps, the next step is you need to let it come back to you, right? There's no point pushing it out into the universe if it's not going to come back and manifest in your life. Now, the way to bring it back, there's two components on that side. So you've got the active side, which is your decision, your thought of what you want, and your action in order to pursue that. Now we need to work on the receptive side, right? The negative charge of the battery, the receptive side is probably a better word than negative. Now, the first thing that you need to do in order to bring what you've put out there back to you is to have the right attitude. That starts the return journey with the electrical current. The right attitude would be being positive, right? Remaining positive, but also persevering, right? Things aren't always going to go easy when you're doing the actions. It's going to be tough. It's going to require some effort. It's going to require some planning. Also, things aren't always going to go smoothly. Some of your videos will get one view and it will really dishearten you. But this is where you're being tested, right? So you need to maintain that positive attitude. Although it's on the receptive side, your attitude is what's receptive, but you need to have that positive persevering attitude in order to start bringing that electrical current back to you. Now, that's not the end of the circuit of course, because it needs to now manifest in your life. So you've created your decision, your positive charge. You've sent it out there with your actions. That's your active side of the circuit. You're now thinking correctly, you're positive, you're persevering, and you're accepting everything that happens to you without letting it wind you up or get you into a negative state of mind. So you're almost there. You've almost manifested. This is where a lot of people fail. The key now to allowing that electrical current to complete is to have pure faith that what you've done is going to lead to the results that you need it to. That is the receptive charge. Okay, so remember, you've got your positive charge, then you've got your action of sending it out. Now, then you've got your action of bringing it back with your attitude. Then you actually need the receptive charge. And that receptive charge comes in the form of faith, comes in the form of acceptance. You need to understand and accept that what you're doing is just a science which produces results consistently if you can stick to those stages of the electrical current. So if you're, for example, you've done those things, but you're still worrying about, oh, is this going to happen? I'm not sure. You start worrying about how it's going to happen and if it's even going to happen, or you've been wasting your time. All of that puts a block on the electrical current. It won't complete. Therefore, the results won't manifest in your life. You need to understand that in order to completely allow the electrical current to flow, you need to have a receptive attitude, an acceptive attitude, allowing these things to take place. The best word for it is faith. Knowing that once you put something out there, once you've decided on something and you work towards it with the right attitude and you allow it to form part of your life, it's inevitable. It's going to happen. That's how you complete the circuit. Now, of course, you can always just buy this book. I mean, I think you can just buy it on Amazon. I'm sure that's where I got it from. And as you can see, it breaks it down in a lot more detail. But that's the core concept of the book. And once you've got the theory of the law of abundance, or the law of attraction as you might better know it, as a complete science, it's much easier to follow. But it's much easier as well to have faith knowing that it's going to work, because it just makes logical sense in the form of an electrical current. Now, hopefully those few minutes have made you think, and also hopefully, I mean, this has got nothing to do with me, but by the book it breaks it down in much more detail. Look, of course, as well, if you like these sort of quick breakdowns, then feel free to subscribe, because the more viewers I get, the better I'll get videos, the bigger this channel will get, the better I can do. So yeah, feel free to do that, of course, but I hope that helped.